Welcome back to the channel. Hit that subscribe button and let's get going. As today we are talking about Ryan Nugent Hopkins, and it's a bit early, a bit not, because of the Seattle expansion in a few years. Ryan Nugent Hopkins' contract ends not the end of this season, but the end of the next season when the expansion draft is. Now, we're going to be talking about the number, years, dollar wise, and why he has a huge effect on the expansion draft. Now, Ken Holland could go out this summer or throughout next season and sign him. What that means is the Edmonton Oilers would have to go to 7-3-1 in the expansion draft to keep Nuge. Because the article I read, it sounded like if they go with the other one, the 8 players, 1 goalie, they were going to take 4 defensemen, 4 forwards, not named Nugent Hopkins. Now, in those 4 forwards was Yamamoto, Draisaitl, McDavid, of course. Now, the 4th one, I was like, well, okay, there's some upside to him. Tyler Benson. Now, why Nuge has a huge effect in this is because if the Edmonton Oilers don't decide to re-sign him and Seattle takes him, Seattle only has a few days to actually sign Hopkins before he becomes a UFA. So, maybe there's some talks. What I would do personally would be like, look, we're leaving you exposed. If you want to sign with us, we'll sign you after the expansion draft, blah, blah, blah. And he might be all game for that. He might say, no, sign me now or I'm never coming back. Now, we all know Nuge wants to be an Oiler, but I don't think he would do that to Seattle to benefit Edmonton. Now, like I said, he wants to be an Oiler. He's been here through the thick and thin. He's only seen the playoffs once. This whole team's only seen the playoffs once. And this year was going to be another year. Hopefully it still is. He's a huge part of this team. He was drafted first overall in 2011 and is one of the only players left from all those first round draft picks in that time frame. Now, you might say, well, yeah, let's bring him back. Let's try and get him on a cheap deal. What I'm proposing is not a cheap deal. I'd go another 6-7 years at $7 million. Yes, that's $1 million only from what he's making now. And same term, but by the time he signs his contracts over next year, he will be 27. Nope, 28. Yeah, 28 because his birthday is 1993. So he'd be 28 next year. Now, why I'm saying this 6-7 years, because at 28, 7 years will bring him to 35. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 are your golden years, they say. Those are your peak years. If he can do up to 32 at 70, 60 plus points a year, I will pay $7 million for that. So looking at the stats too, is in those 7 years, we will have McDavid would need to be re-signed. Draisaitl would be re-signed. Nuge probably only come back on a 3-year deal if he wants to stay an Oiler for life. We gotta remember, he would have to stay an Oiler for life if he wanted to do it this way. Now looking at the stats, this year is proven why he's a valuable part of this team. He had a slow start. Don't get that wrong. He had a slow start, and then the emergence of that line with Draisaitl and Yamamoto. I didn't think he had this many points, to be honest. In 65 games, he has 61 points. So if we could get him for $7 million and he can score 65 plus points, and even if it was 5 out of the next 7 years, I'm going to take that. That's 300 points. That's 300 goals for the Edmonton Oilers in those five seasons. So that's perfect. That takes the stress off of McDavid, and I think that's what McDavid needs as well. He also gives you that valuable high slot option or the left boards on the power play. He also gives you that penalty killing. He's terrific penalty killing. Gives you that third center position on the power play if they get kicked out. He's a versatile player, and for $7 million over 6 to 7 years, I'll take that. That is what this team needs, and that will give time for the rookies to prosper too. So looking at his career stats, so he's had an up and down career. So let's go start from when he was drafted, 11-12. That is amazing. 52 points in 62 games in your rookie season, we'll take that. Only a -2, only had 16 penalty minutes. So that's 8 penalties in 62 games. Then it just got better with penalty-wise. So 40 games, that was the lockout season. He had 24 points, over a half a point per game, 8 penalties. That's 4 penalties in 40 games. That's 1 every 10 games. Now the penalties started coming because he got to play more. But 56 and 80, 56 and 76. 15-16 was an injury-prone season for him. Don't get me wrong, it happens to everyone. Look at Clefbaum. He gets injured once a season at least. So 34 and 55, still pretty good. Then he plays his first full 82 games. Only 43 points. But you know what? That 16-17 season, he really turned it on. Now you look at the 17-18 season. 62 games, missed 20 games due to injury and sickness, still had 48 points and tied his career goals with 24. Now last year, 82 games, another full season. His second only full season all year because the injuries, scratches, injury bugs, and the lockout. Set a career high in points, assists, and goals. Then had 69. He only had 13 penalties in that 82 games. I'll take it. Yeah, the minuses are a worry, but last year, this is the number I want to say. 26 power play points last year. He is versatile to the first power play unit. It's not all McDavid Draisaitl. Nuge has that left side, can play with Clefbaum, can get it over to McDavid, and no one really sees that because it's mostly all these second assists because he goes over to McDavid Draisaitl back of the net. You guys know that. He also had a short-handed goal, but whatever. And then this year, 61 points. So he has 22 goals this year, which is the 4th highest in his career. If they restart the season, I wouldn't be surprised if he hits the 30-goal mark. And he's only 2 assists off his career high in assists last year. So as you could see in this, besides the injury-prone season, he's been a 40 to 60 point scorer. Then all of a sudden, he's turned it on to be the 60, 70, 80 point scorer that we chose first round back in 2011. So am I out of whack here? Let me know in the comments if you think I'm out of whack with the 6-7 years at $7 million. I wouldn't go much more than 8. 8 would be like my very highest. And I don't think Nuge would do that. He wants to be an Oiler. He loves playing here. It is what it is. So let me know in the comments what you think. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.